have Swarnima. Earlier in the show, we were talking about social media and the role that it can play in perpetuating this perfect adolescent body image. You've worked with the Dove Self-Esteem project as part of the Youth Advisory Board, and part of your research focused on the potential of technology for positive body images. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, like a lot of people have said before me, the speakers, that, obviously we know what are the harmful effects of, being on social media. In fact, there are studies after studies, which have showed that, prolonged social media exposure has a correlation with disordered eating, negative body image, etc. But what has been happening in the last few years is that younger and younger women, they're consuming social media in a very different way. It's a very mindful way in which they are, and a very purposeful way in which they are renegotiating the relationship between themselves and social media. So they are using filters more mindfully. They are, talking about, beauty standards that they are setting. They are following influencers who are body positive and body neutral and who come from, the global south. You were seeing that there is a lot of increase of people who are coming from the global south, and they are redefining the notions of beauty, which was so far very derivative of a very Western ideal of what beauty should mean, like fair skin, thin bodies, etc. And that is being constantly redefined and renegotiated among, the younger people and the younger consumers of social media. Also, there is, like a 2019 study was done in Australia, which showed that, women from 18 to 30 years of age, when they're consuming more and more body positive and body neutral content on social media, it not only positively impacts their self-esteem, but also their mood. And this positive reinforcement is even higher because, when you're talking about things like self-esteem, low self-esteem, negative body image, this feels like a very isolated experience. But when you come online and you see that there are people who look like you, who feel like you, that positive reinforcement is even more strong, So these are some ways in which, we are finding that social media behavior is changing for the better. And a lot of young women are like really driving it and really, sort of redefining beauty online, basically.
Swarnima, I have a question for you. The one aspect everyone overlooks is the impact that this body image anxiety has on women's health.
Yeah.
It is women's health versus women's beauty, and beauty always seems to win. You work extensively in women's health care. Tell us more about it. How do we tackle this?
So, number one, this is something that people don't understand very well, that why, when we're talking about certain standards of beauty, how that has a very tangible impact on healthcare outcomes. So let me demonstrate a few examples. So a lot of people have come to us in my current, the Gayatri, the Women's Health Organization, and another one before that, where we were talking about menopause, PCOS and things like that, and, providing evidence-based, solutions to manage all of that. But one thing that we recognized was that when people were coming to us to deal with, say, PCOS or to deal with menopause, one of the biggest things they wanted to solve was the weight loss problem, abdominal weight gain, sudden weight gain, cystic acne. And there was a bit of resistance to, to solve for things like hormonal health issues in a more holistic way. So what we've realized is that a lot of what people understand about healthcare is very, skewed towards looking fit and looking thin, and not necessarily solving the root cause of it. So there is a very direct correlation between, essentializing women's health into just fitness and essentializing the definition of fitness as just looking thin, because that really, skews your healthcare outcomes, and you don't deal with the condition that you have in a more holistic, sort of evidence-based manner. And this happens, as early as, during teenage, a lot of, girls are being diagnosed with PCOS at an earlier and earlier stage. And two of the biggest symptoms of this are, sudden weight gain, massive weight gain, and cystic acne. And during this time, girls are so vulnerable, their bodies are changing, they are renegotiating, how they're, growing from being, kids. So this is already a very vulnerable time emotionally for girls. And we have seen that a lot of people, they don't want to understand the symptom. They don't want to say that, okay, let me take you to a doctor and get you checked, as to what's happening. They will say, oh my God, lose weight. Tumhara growth bahut zyada ho ja raha hai. This is the kind of language we are using.
Yes.
And, we've seen this, that when we are talking about, and this is not just about specific healthcare issues like PCOS and menopause and things like that, we've
Right.
also seen this, a lot of young people are coming to us as, our users and community members. So for example, they travel to cities like Bombay and Delhi for their professions and for their college and things like that. And they have said, that we have a different set of wardrobe for the metro cities where we are working and studying and our hometowns, which are not very cosmopolitan. And what is that if not, a lot of stress around how your body is culturally perceived,
Absolutely.
And
Very
that
important points, Swarnima. Thank you so much for them. Thank you.